How to tell a fake story in public speaking. I'm going to share with you 100% working template. Yes, a very fake story that you can share with your audience. Now, when I say fake story, I mean how to share story that you are personally not involved or that are not your experience, but you want to share it with your audience just to resonate with the your presentation or what you're saying. So you will agree with me that storytelling is very crucial in public speaking. There is no way we can remove storytelling from public speaking. The two work hand in hand to give us that beautiful presentation, that perfect delivery. But the thing is, how do you present your story? And that is why I'm here this evening. Whatever time you're watching me, whether from the podcast or from YouTube, please subscribe because I'm going to deliver a 100% working template on how you can tell this story in such a way that it can resonate with your audience in a very, very convincing way. Now, don't be scared to share fake stories. In absence of a better word to use it, don't be afraid to share stories that are not real if they are going to resonate with your audience. Maybe you want to share a story that is not yours, or you want to share a story of a friend. You want to share a story that you heard in a book that is not your personal experience, but you know it's going to resonate with what you're saying. And trust me, 70% of your public speakers, your acclaimed A-list public speakers, share fake stories as well. I mean, we listen to stories of Cinderella, we watch Marvel movies, we watch some of these Hollywood and Nollywood movies. Some of them or most of them are not true, but somehow, somewhat, we still key into them just because they resonate with what we are thinking or they resonate with what we want to deliver to the audience. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the perfect template to deliver a fake story or stories that are not true in such a way that it's going to resonate with your audience and it's going to make you sound very credible, very convincing, and very persuasive. So don't go anywhere. Join me. Welcome back. If you just come across my YouTube channel, I talk about personal branding, public speaking, ethics and etiquette, and personal development with the Mandela podcast show. Now, this is the template for delivering a perfect, untrue story that resonates with your audience and will make your audience listen to you. We have 5 steps. The first one is, once upon a time, there was. The second step is, they used to do this. The third step is, there's something happened. The fourth step is, they did something as a result of what happened. And the fifth and the final step is, this is the result of what happened, or this is the result of what they have done. Let me come again. The first step is, once upon a time, there was. The second step is, they used to do this. The third step is, there's something happened. Then the fourth step is, they need to take action because of this that happened. The fifth step is, this is the result of the action they took. So let me give a perfect example of how this template works. Remember, I told you that the first step in this template is, once upon a time, there was. So now an example of this is, once upon a time, there was a lady in the little town of Abuja named Mrs. Williams. That is once upon a time. The second step is, they used to do this. So Mrs. Williams used to own a fashion business focused for entrepreneurs to have a unique fashion brand that blends with their personal branding. The third step is, then something happened. Mrs. Williams lost her husband. Mrs. Williams lost her husband. Now, the fourth step, which is, they do this because of what happened, is she was approached by some investors to sell her company. Now, the fifth step is, remember the fourth step I told you is that they do this because of something happened. Now, Mrs. Williams has lost her husband. Now, what happened after? She was approached by some investors to sell off her company. She thought about it critically and decided not to sell it. Now, the fifth and the final step of this template is, this is the result of what happened. Now, Mrs. Williams company is one of the most respected fashion brands in Abuja, Nigeria. That is an example. Now, let me tell you the story without the template. Once upon a time, there was a lady in the city of Abuja. She used to own a fashion brand that is focused for entrepreneurs that want a unique fashion brand that is tailored to their personal branding. Then her husband died. She was approached by some investors to sell off this brand. She thought about it critically and she decided not to sell it. Now, She is one of the top fashion brand and fashion entrepreneurs in the city of Abuja, Nigeria. You see how this template works. Now, let me reiterate. This template, if you can master it very well, is going to make you tell any story, anywhere, anytime. Let me summarize this template. Once upon a time, there was. They used to do this. That's the second step. The third step is then something happened, which deals with the action. The first step is then they do this because of what happened. They took an action because of what happened. That is the fourth step. And the fifth step is this is the result of what happened. Thank you for joining me on the Mandela Podcast Show. I hope you are able to learn one or two things. If this thing really resonates with you, you love it, it is very, very convincing to you, please do well to subscribe if you're on YouTube or if you are listening to me on any podcast platform. Do well to share with your friends, give it a 5-star rating, give it a positive comment because the algorithm is going to share this with like-minded person. The Mandela Podcast Show is available on your favorite podcast platform. Is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, name it. Just type the Mandela Podcast Show and boom, you find it. We're on YouTube and you can also subscribe to our newsletter. Everything on the description. Just check through the description. You'll find the link to all of these platforms. If you have any question or inquiry, you can send me a mail at olalekanmandela@gmail.com or the Mandela Podcast Show @gmail.com. Or if you're a social media person, you can send me a DM on @olalekanmandela or at the Mandela Podcast Show, and I will be glad to answer your question for free. So thank you so much for joining me on this edition of How to Tell a Fake Story. Thank you very much. My name is Olalekan.